Are you tired of hitting roadblocks in your dating life? Join me for a free masterclass where I'll be revealing the 3 nice guy dating patterns that turn women off and what you should be doing instead. Unlock the secrets to creating genuine attraction. Click the link in the description to sign up now. So today I want to talk about why it is that you as a guy will never win when you overreact to situations and you become so overly emotional that you don't take time to stop, analyze, and really see what's actually going on in the situation, and instead you're just reacting to stuff. And so I went on Reddit. There is a woman that went through a situation with a guy that she was seeing for a couple of weeks, whereby he started accusing her of various things. And so she was on Reddit asking what she should do. The ending consensus is that everybody told her she needs to dump this guy. And after reading the situation, I wholeheartedly agree. Why? Because he was out of pocket and he was coming at her in ways that if he had just been less emotional and been more inquisitive versus accusatory, he probably could have won. So let's go ahead and get into a situation. So this is the woman that wrote this. She says she's 34 and she's been speaking to a guy who was 48. So for all you guys out there that are like, I can't get women that are, yes, you can. You're an older guy. You can date a woman that's like 10 years younger than you. Darn what society says. But anyway, that's not the point. So she says, I, 34, have been speaking to a man, 48, for a few weeks. We have had long phone calls and texted daily. Not a good idea on his end, but I'll talk about that all the time. She says, this is my birthday weekend, so we have dinner plans. Well, today was a very unusual turn of events from him. First, he accused me of unmatching him on Tinder instead of just asking what happened to our match. By the way, my Tinder is going through it right now and all my matches disappeared. But I didn't know because I haven't logged on since I started speaking to him. He basically said, I obviously have things to hide and just went off on me instead of just asking me, which is what I would have done. So here's a guy that is very much being overly emotional about a situation. He saw some weird things happening with her Tinder whereby she was no longer there, which begs the question, honestly, if I was her, I'd have asked, wait, but why were you going back on Tinder in the first place again? But that's beside the point. The point is he got overly emotional because he saw that suddenly like she wasn't there, which made him assume that she must have unmatched him, and therefore either she's playing games with him or she's seeing other guys or God knows what, He already had a negative situation in his head as to why it is that her profile was no longer there. Now, some of you guys might think, but she probably was or whatever. I have personally been through a similar situation where I met a woman on a dating app. We went out that same night actually and had a great time. And then a couple of days later, I had seen her again and then she went out of town. As soon as she was out of town, I went to go onto the dating app just because I wanted to read through our conversation that we had that led us to meeting each other, and nothing. There was no conversation there anymore. There was no profile there anymore. And I was like, what's going on? Like, so we meet, we have a good date, we have a couple of fun times, and all of a sudden she goes out of town and now she's blocking me or deleting me while she's out of town. Like, what's going on? Now at this point, I had her phone number and I could have been with this guy. I could have hit her up. Hey, so why'd you not match with me? We had such a great time on the date. You just left town and now you're going to leave me, blah, 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 blah. Keep in mind, it's only like 3 or 4 days into us knowing each other, right? But I didn't do that. What did I do? I said, okay, you know what? I have her number. And so she just left town. I just found this out. So I'm going to just wait it out and see if maybe I'm tripping. Maybe she'll hit me up. Maybe there was something happened with her, right? So I had found out about her profile being gone in the morning. And I waited and I waited and it was torture because I didn't know. I didn't know if should I reach out to her? But if she blocked me, then does that mean she doesn't want to hear from me? Like, she's going to know I don't see her on the dating app anymore, right? Like, what's going on? Anyway, long story short, after waiting a painstaking, we'll say 5 hours, because she had gone out of town, so she was on a plane, right? She hits me up on a text. Hey, so-and-so just landed and blah, blah, blah. Hope you have a good day, whatever, right? So kind of find out later, it turns out she thought that we matched so well that she had just completely gotten rid of the dating app. She was like, I'm good. But imagine if in that instance when I didn't know that, I freaked out. I panicked. I texted her, how could you match with me? I thought we had a thing. Like, now I'd be that guy that she's not trying to be with. That guy that's like overly needy. That guy that doesn't have emotional intelligence to stop and wait and think about a situation. A guy that's not willing to say, hey, just something weird happened, but like, I noticed that you weren't on the app anymore. Like, was that purposeful or did something happen? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm now the guy that's gonna freak out and panic, and women don't want that. By the way, I've done shows before about how women test guys and why they test guys. This is one of those reasons, because they test us because if they just ask us directly, hey, if I do X, Y, and Z, are you gonna freak out or start accusing me of things? Because every guy would be like, no, I wouldn't do that. I would totally come to talk to you and ask questions. But in the moment, this kind of stuff happens. So this isn't a test she's purposely trying to do. This is just Tinder messed up. Hey, technology, guys, sometimes technology messes up. But the point is not even about what's happening on her end. The point is that he took it to the full extreme of bad things are happening, and I gotta tell her that I'm feeling a certain way, and how could she do this and blah, blah. And that is not going to win you over any points, which is why I try to teach you guys it's better to be indifferent to things. So when things like this arise, you can go to them and say, hey, something on Tinder, like something happened to your profile, what's up? And that would have been it versus like all this accusatory stuff because you're so heavily invested, because your emotions are so much into it, you know? So that was the first part. So then she says, second, he says, it's weird that 2 days in a row, his calls go to voicemail instantly. And quote, obviously something is suspect. Even though I tell him I have bad reception in my unit due to being in a valley, and everyone has this problem in this area. Now, again, he's thinking, that's probably a bold-faced lie. How dare you? You just don't want to talk to me. I have personally lived in certain apartments and different parts of town whereby reception sucks. When I was living in Atlanta, I lived in a basement apartment. I would literally have to stand next to a window. In fact, I kept my phone next to the window because that was the best place to get reception. But if I took it into my bedroom, into the kitchen, into the bathroom, I got no service. Here in California, I've lived in certain sections of town whereby there's a lot of trees and wires around. And so if I'm not standing in a certain spot, either I'm talking to somebody and then all of a sudden their voice gives out, or I don't get calls through altogether. Sometimes this happens. So this guy didn't think that out. He just automatically assumed it's been 2 days in a row suddenly that it went to voicemail. Oh my God, she must be trying to like not talk to me. Even though she herself says that she would call him back. Like she said, I'm sure he had a valid point when he said it's strange. I wouldn't have told him that off the top, but I've always called back when I move positions in my place. So you're looking at the guy that's like, no, I'm calling her now. I want to talk to her now. If I don't get her right now, then she's probably cheating or she's playing games or she's talking to some other dude. Sometimes women can't answer their phones right away or text you back right away. Sometimes they're doing other things with their life or they have crappy reception. My thing is like, but is she getting back to you though? Like she didn't say, and then I waited 3 or 4 days to text him back or call him back. She said, once I figured out he called, when I got good reception, I called him right away. So this guy is basically freaking out on her because he's feeling anxious. He doesn't have a full level of self-esteem about himself. It's very, very low. And obviously he's a guy that probably had stuff in his past that's caused him to become this kind of guy whereby he doesn't quite trust her to really like him long-term or to want to stick around because he's showing all the signs of a guy that's like, she's not going to stick around long. I got to make sure she's going to do it. And then he's trying to control by way of saying, hey, you unmatched with me. How dare you? Hey, you're not answering my calls right. All this is an attempt to try to make her show him that she cares for him. And that is not, I mean, it's her job to like want to be in this with you, to show you affection and care, but it's not your job to try to do things that either force her to do that or that make her now have to try to prove that. Like he's saying, no, I really didn't mean to call you. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I'll match back on Tinder right away. Oh my God. Like, what is this guy expecting to happen? Well, let's find out what actually happened. So she says, when we chatted on the phone about this today, about the phone thing, I simply said, all he has to do was ask and not come at me with all these accusations that have nothing to do with me. He talked at me and in a very condescending and defensive tone. I felt completely sad and triggered at how he was presenting himself. It also felt like a projection on his part. And it was. He was projecting by the fact that he can't go X amount of time without hearing from her or is going to feel some kind of way if she doesn't be next to her phone all the time and be in a place with good reception and be able to pick it up whenever he calls or text back whenever he texts, or be able to have a reminder of her on Tinder whenever he goes on there to look at it again. Like, all this stuff screams, this guy has low self-esteem, he has issues, and he's extremely needy. Women feel like when a needy guy is coming at them, they are in some kind of danger. It gives them that ick, that oh so disgusting ick, that once women get it, it becomes very hard for them to think about you in a loving capacity, because you've just discussed them so much with your behavior and the way you're making them feel. Women are all about feelings. So if you come to them in a way where they start feeling awkward around you, it's gonna make them not wanna be with you anymore. So then she says, I really liked him, but is this foreshadowing on how he will be in future misunderstandings? He kept telling me, because I'm younger, that he's obviously the mentally mature one, but I stood my ground with valid points. Any advice on how to proceed? So what is he doing? He's the one that's doing what Kevin Samuels always talked about. He's throwing out shame, insults, guilt that need to be right. He's trying to tell her, well, I'm smarter than you because I'm older, so obviously you blah, 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 blah. And all it was that she had bad reception and didn't pick up her phone right away when he called. This is a guy, and at 48, this guy's still acting like this, which means this kind of behavior is already set in stone for him. And so for her to think that that's gonna ever change, that's not what's gonna happen. But for you guys listening at home, maybe you recognize some of this behavior in yourself. Like, maybe you're that guy that's like, I text her and she didn't text me back right away. She must be playing games. I feel so nervous and anxious. Guys, it does not serve you. If you reach out to a woman and she can't get back right away, you go about your merry day and just assume that if she has high enough interest, she'll get back to you on her own time. But ideally, it'll be sooner than later. But because women like you aren't gonna make you wait like 24, 48, 36 hours, whatever it is, hours to hear back from them. But it might be 5 or 6 hours. There might be a day where, like, for example, the other day I was out and about, I was helping somebody with some project or whatever like that, and all of a sudden my phone, I left my apartment with my phone on 10%. And I could not find my wire charger to save my life. So I just said, I just am going to work today with a low battery phone. And around like 12:30-ish, my phone died. So I had to spend the rest of the time with my friend without a phone. Just, if anybody tried to call me, I wasn't there. Now, imagine if I'm dating somebody and then I turn my phone back on and I got like a bunch of messages. Hey, why aren't you answering your phone? Why aren't you texting me? Are you with another girl? What's going on? I would tell you as a guy, that girl is dangerous and you don't need to date her anymore. And so I have to say the same thing to you as a guy. If you are panicking because she's not texting you back right away, or you matched her on an online dating thing or whatever, and all of a sudden you don't see her there anymore, and you're just like freaking out, I would say you have some serious work to do in terms of figuring out why it is that you feel so unhinged when you're not getting your way or getting the responses back right away that you are wanting from women that you're dating, and really analyze that. Because if you don't, and you don't fix it, then women across the board that would actually be interested in a long-term relationship with you will get rid of you, and you will continue to be single. Don't make the mistake of being a 48-year-old guy that hasn't figured this out yet. Now, if you need help figuring out how to get rid of that anxiety and anxiousness, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com, click on the coaching tab. I would love to help with you on a one-on-one conversation. You can also check out some of my various ebooks, audiobooks, and programs that will help walk you through the ins and outs of how to become a more confident man and a better dater as a result, all of which is at the website, all right? Anyway, guys, so all this to say, this woman said, as an update, he is now blocked. Thanks to everyone here. I appreciate all of you, and especially the laughs I got from some of the responses. Thanks for checking me back into reality. Yeah, man or woman, nobody deserves to have somebody that's going to be accusing them of things that they're not doing. Like, I have been in those situations where it's like, it's the most annoying thing when the person that you're trying to care for is trying to accuse you of all this stuff. And the worst part is, like, they're accusing you of things that you can't prove. Like, this guy's like, you're not on Tinder anymore because you don't care for me. I'm not on Tinder because the system messed up, but I do care for you. Well, how do you prove that? Because I'm talking to you right now. Like, it becomes very awkward for all parties involved. So please, just don't be that guy. Like, don't be that guy. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to give it a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man.